Hey everyone, we just walked out of the theater from seeing The Strangers Chapter 1. And this was announced last year, a brand new Strangers trilogy directed by Renny Harlin. All three films were directed by Renny Harlin. All three movies were shot in 52 days. And this is the first one. Supposedly the part 2 is going to come out in October, I think, and the third one next year. I'm not sure about that. That's what I read, but things change. Renny Harlin's an interesting director. Renny Harlin has directed a lot of films that I really enjoy, and then he kind of fell off the map. I love Cliffhanger. I like Deep Blue Sea. I love The Long Kiss Goodnight, Die Hard 2. He directed Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, a little horror movie called Prison. That's how he got his start in America in filmmaking. And so I've always liked Renny Harlin as a director. It's just some of the movies he directed I didn't care for. So right up front going in, I expected at least a well-directed film, and I will say up front, this movie is pretty well-directed. Now, this movie is very similar to the original's The Strangers movie. Now, some of the events happen differently, and the situation's a little bit different, but you'll see a lot of similarities to that original film, for sure. It's directed differently, though. It has a different look than the original film, but it's very similar. In a lot of ways. The main characters, I'm not familiar with the main actress. I know she was on Riverdale. I'd never seen Riverdale. I'm not familiar with her. I thought she was pretty good. The guy that played her boyfriend was fine. He was fine. They had decent chemistry for sure. The only actor that I knew in this film was Richard Brake. He plays a police officer. You only see him like one time in the film. He does not have a big part whatsoever, but that's the one actor I knew in this film. Now, basically, they're driving through Oregon to go to Portland for a new job. They have car trouble, and they get stuck staying in this little town overnight, and they stay in this cabin in the woods, and before you know it, 3 strangers in masks show up and start terrorizing them, and that's pretty much the film. What to like about this film? Well, I think it's pretty well directed. Renny Harlin definitely still has it. It's nicely shot. The cinematography looks nice. The camera work's well done. There is suspenseful stuff here. I thought some scenes were really well done with the suspense. There are jump scares. My son jumped twice during the film. He doesn't want to admit it, but he did. There's a lot of like the camera framing with a character, and then when it frames back, somebody's standing there or walking in the background. I like that kind of stuff. I mean, it's nothing new. It's stuff we've seen before, especially with the Halloween franchise and then coming forward to now. You know, it's not overly gory. There's some blood for sure. I mean, there's not a lot of kills in this film either, I will say that. It's basically like the first film. They're messing with these people, and then finally we get down to business at the end. Now, being that it's a trilogy, there is setup for the next film, which I'm very interested in seeing. Now, from what I've seen online, any negatives? The movie's not very long. It's only 90 minutes. My son thought it was only 40. I'm like, no, it was 90. It definitely takes time. And, you know, the strangers do take a large amount of time messing with this couple until we finally get down to the nitty gritty of why this is all going on. And then we definitely set up for the sequel, for sure, for the next chapter. And there is a mid-credit sequence. I'm not going to say what it is, but if you do go to see it, stay for the mid-credits because there is a little scene that ties into the next film. Overall, I didn't think this isn't the greatest horror movie I've seen in a while, you know, but I thought it was decent. It definitely exceeded my expectations. I mean, this is their second crack at bringing the Strangers back. Obviously, Strangers Prey at Night came out several years ago. And while that film's okay, and there's some cool sequences in it, I didn't love that film. There's a lot of issues with it. Same thing here. There's some issues. Our characters do some really stupid shit. But at the end of the day, I was satisfied with what I saw. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I would give Strangers Chapter 1 a 7 out of 10. Now I'm going to let my son rate it. He has his own ranking. Troy, what would you give The Strangers Chapter 1?
7.5 out of 10.
All right, Troy gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Are you planning on seeing this movie? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Are you going to see it in the theaters or wait for a video? Let me know down below in the comments section. If you've seen it already, let me know what you think of this film. That's it for this Out of the Theater reaction. But until next time, bye.